Boom! Sorry for the delay. I got caught up, but I am here now to solve all your PMP questions. All right. So today we're going to have a free form kind of session. We're going to have any kind of questions come in, and we will answer them at will. We do have a couple questions that are stored up from the students. So, all right, let's go into those. So, anybody out there, put your comments down below. Today we're going to talk about what it takes to pass the PMP exam. And so here we go. We will jump in right now as we go. All right. So today, as we get into this, I am going to talk about one of the new techniques that I've developed for passing the PMP exam and solving the hard questions. All right. So one of the big techniques that we've got recently, they have a bunch of techniques, but one of the new ones is called like 50-50 or all or nothing, one of these things. All right. And so we talked about it last time, and I'll just highlight it again. When you're looking at any answer, what I want you to do is see if there's a word in the middle that's like an and or a but or a yet, and any kind of word that connects both sides of the answers. All right. And so as those, let's see who we got in there. Hey, what's going on? What kind of questions do you have? FIM Truck or whatever your name is, FMA Truck. Why don't you put your question down below and I will answer it. All right. PMP wise. Now, we're back to this 50-50 thing. When you're looking at answers, okay, this is just going to be free form. Here's some strategies, okay? You got to make sure that the front and the back of every answer matches, okay? To the problem up above, is it right or is it wrong? Okay, you're looking at the front and just say, does that satisfy the question up above? Yes or no? Is it valid? Does it satisfy the answer? Is it the right thing to do? If it is, give it credit, in a sense, half credit. Then you got to go to the back as well. What we find a lot is that you get kind of mesmerized by either the front half or the back half, and you talk yourself into the answer. All right, so that's not good. All right, that's one of the ways that people miss questions and they get lost. If you find yourself going over and over and over answers, and you're like, I don't know. A lot of times it's better just to like drop them, because if you have to talk yourself into the answer, like sell yourself, then that's not a good thing, all right? Because you are not going off principle. Now, if you can explain logically, that's different than talking yourself in. So you want to explain logically the answer. Oh, it is wrong because of this foundational reason, or it's right because of this reason, or this is the correct solution because in time that will help us make the project better. That's okay. That's not talking yourself in. That's establishing a foundational understanding. It's significantly different. But if you have to say, well, maybe, I guess, we should have kind of done that. And maybe if that's right, then this. No. That's, if it sounds like you're just trying to convince yourself, that you're in the wrong ballgame. You might not know why you're bad, but if you feel yourself doing that, just drop the answer and move on. So right now, if there's a way out there for you to take questions, right? You got a simulator, mine or other. If you use a little exercise, take 10 questions and do this. Define each one of the answers. Just take them one by one and ask yourself, can you tell the logical foundational reason why the answer is right or wrong? Okay. So if you can, great. Put a little check by it. It's either positive or negative. You like it or don't like it, but you have a foundational reason. Super. Go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. You're going to find areas or answers where you have to I don't know, and you're going to have to talk yourself into it. Do me a favor, and on those, just wipe them off the table. Just take the gamble and wipe them off the table. And what you'll find is the two that you're down to, you're more likely to get the right answer. Now, there's another problem that as you go back, you got to figure out why the heck you couldn't evaluate the merits of the answer. So then the story continues. Then you go deeper into do that. But right now, if you can just use that exercise, one of the first ways I talked about, just to review, the 50-50s. You like the front or you don't like the back. One of them, then throw it away. The second one, hey, what's the process change request for the customer? Let me see. All right, so we're going to go back here. What's the process of the changes requested from the customer? Like the PM, evaluate if it will affect the scope. Has to go to the sponsor first. All right, so let me ask you, as I clean up my cameras. At what point, now we got to ask, is this agile? Is this waterfall? This person on the screen. Be a little bit more specific in your question, all right? just help me out a little bit. What's the process of changes requested from the customer? Okay. So change is giant. So how you manage change is giant. I'll put my own little statement there. How you manage change is giant. Okay. Either waterfall or agile. Okay. So the first question you got to ask yourself is this environment waterfall or agile? Traditional. All right, sweet. So it's easy. All right. So when you go down the path of like waterfall, okay, you know you're in that game. Now, what is waterfall? What does it exist? All right. Think of waterfall like a relay race, a really long relay race. What happens in that? It's like, hey, we do a lot of initiation. We do a heck of a lot of planning. There's like a relay. There's handing a baton to the next person, to the next person, to the next person down the line, executing, monitor controlling, closing, everything sequential, doom, doom, doom. Now we spend a tremendous time up front doing the planning in the traditional world, build a big bridge type stuff, and we're not nailing down that scope. So individual that asked this question, if you're spending all that time nailing down a scope and you nail down a baseline that says, hey, world, hey, project, hey, sponsor, this is exactly what we're going to deliver, how much money we expect it to cost, and the schedule. Now, the question you asked was, what's the process for managing change in that environment? What do you think? If you spent a lot of time up front nailing down what the scope is, and you're officially stating that and putting it like in concrete, how would you manage this? And you get a change request or change later, how would you manage it? You spent all that time. You tell me down below, please. Would you just be able to willy-nilly turn the ship, zoom, go there? Would it just be a small change to say to the sponsor, hey, sponsor, we're going to make an adjustment. We're iterative. We're agile in this world. We can move around. Or do we have to do something different? What is it? You said traditional. Give me the answer. What do you think? Yeah, value. Thank you, Deborah. Coming in strong. Evaluate, then send it to the change control board. Yes. So after you've gone past the baseline, any change that affects a baseline, scope, schedule, cost, must be evaluated, analyzed, conceptualized on a little piece of paper in a sense, put through the change control board, which is the sponsor and others, just an objective board trying to make better decisions. They're either going to say yes or no to what you want to do. So back to the original question, what do you do to manage change? First of all, identify if it's waterfall or agile. If it's waterfall, then you've got to go through a change control board process, which is analyze, understand, conceptualize what you want to do and the logic behind it, put it through there, get them to approve it or not. If it's approved, the baseline changes, the work changes, everything changes. It's all updated, and on you go. If not, the work stays how it is. So that's how it goes. Deborah, what question do you have? You got something, Deborah? I want to go live. I'm going to start doing these things live with a student because it's much more fun to talk eye to eye to a student than, I love you all, but it's more fun to talk than just me talk to typing. That's just for me. So as Deborah writes in, anything that worries her, let me think through another technique that I can teach you. Another question solving technique that we want to do is we want to, nothing specific. I can't answer that. So if you got nothing specific, I can't answer that. Is to identify good and bad words. Okay. Now in the answers, if we just predicted another activity you could do is try to answer the questions just for fun without looking at the question. I don't recommend those on the exam, but just for like a mix it up kind of night, you just cover up the question and just look at the answers. All right. Now, this is one way to challenge your understanding of what is a right decision and a wrong decision from a project management perspective. Test is Susie. So really nervous. We'll talk afterwards, Deborah, about your test. I'll make sure you're feeling good. We'll get you good. Don't worry about it. Sweet. Ooh. And I'll finish. Marty, I got your question. I'll get it. And then I'm going to answer this. So what I'm saying is this is another technique. Cover up your answer, the question of the PMP questions. Go to the answers. Look at them each and look at them with this lens. Look at the verbs at the front. There's always verbs. Look if they're positive verbs versus negative verbs. All right. These are good versus bad words. Like Anything that's like super act quickly, like acting quickly or disciplined, anything negative that sounds, you want to shy away from. Anything that's more progressive, proactive, detailed thinking, analyze, those are the ones that you more like want to do. And that's not really a trick for the exam. It's more of like, that's just good, proper project management. Take a step back, make a calculated decision, bring people in. So you just want to look at those answers. All right. So Marty B asks, how does change control board vary on an agile project? Well, the question more correctly stated would be, how does change vary on an agile project? Okay. So there is no such thing as a change control board on an agile project. All right. So in agile or in Scrum, if we want more specific, there's 3 roles. Okay. What are the 3 roles? Anybody want to tell me down below? Come on, Marty. Tell me what the 3 roles are in agile or Scrum underneath agile. What are they? I'll give you points for 1 of them, 2 of them, or 3 of them. Either one. So there's dev team, development team, there's a Scrum master, facilitator, and there's a product owner. So those 3 roles, those are the big ones. And people might be like, oh my God, there's no project manager. Don't worry. The actual hats, all the hats that they're wearing. Yay, Marty nailed it. Marty nailed it. Good job, dude. And so really, like the activities and the responsibilities of the project owner are split between these different roles, which is awesome because more the merrier, right? And so we get them to be spread, and it's like a more like resilient kind of like environment in a sense, because like the product is being managed from the backlog perspective from the product owner. The team is deciding how to do the work and managing that through. The Scrum Master is looking at the entire process and working with both the team and the product owner and the stakeholders, all to make sure that the environment's right and guiding it through in a sense. So it all works out. Now, how does this relate back to change? Now, we talked earlier about traditional project management waterfall being like a relay race, like one and then the other and then the other and then the other, handling down. Like think about the dude in the middle of the relay race or the dude at the end of the relay race. Like while the dudes are at the beginning running, what are those dudes doing? They're waiting around. Like if you watch the Olympics, like they're running around the track. The dude that went second, third, and fourth got to wait until the other people come. Now, if we think about when a project gets completed, like it takes a long time. So what we want to try to do in Agile is layer work as much as possible. Like I'm writing a book now. Yay. Like the first way I wrote a book was I wrote a book. Then we figured out how to advertise a book. Then we figured out how to put it on Amazon. Then we figured out something else. Then we said, oh, shoot, how do we get it published? And how do we get it like printed and sent out and all that stuff? One by one by one. We did a relay race. I don't know how long it took me to write a book initially. I wrote it to myself initially. Then I cleaned it up. It took me like a year. This book, I'll be done in like a month and a half, maybe. Like the whole thing. So what are we doing? We're layering work. We got the marketing dudes thinking about it. We got the designers doing it. We got the copy editors or the editors working. We got, me slaving away on the content and all these things working together. So instead of waiting, doom, and dealing with changes, we're not assuming that we know every single thing at the beginning. We're working iteratively together to move it through. Just trying to provide an example to say the changes, the environment is entirely different, how we do things. So we're going to manage change different. We're going to embrace change. We're going to have a central point. Now I have a product owner on my book. It's not me, okay? It's someone else because they can make the decisions on what needs to happen, what we need to do. Like as far as like components of the book, I'm highly involved, influencing them in a sense with the ideas. But the big changes, like if the marketing dudes or the dudes that do the copy editing and all the different stuff need to make big changes, the only person they need to get approval from is that product owner. And they can embrace it and go through it. And it's not as detailed a process as change requests and stuff. It's them just putting it together, get involved with the product owner and be like, hey, I think we need to make this change. If we had to add scope or do something else, we're working in like a flow-based agile way. We're not doing it in sprints. Like everybody's just doing their work and they're layering on. All right. But it's the product owner that can make the decision of if that idea or that change, if it's big, needs to be made. Now, if there's smaller changes, the team just makes them, evaluates them, makes them. It's within their bounds. Okay. So hopefully that helps. There, just summarize that. There is no change control board in Agile because the product owner serves that role. And then the team who does the work, if there's differences between, like, say, the difference of like, hey, if you're going out to buy something from the grocery store and you were like, hey, I'm going to get meat for like dinner. And they were like, this type of steak versus like this other cut of steak. If they had to choose between those two, like there's no big deal. The team has flexibility to do that, right? But if they need to change like the entire like concept of the dinner, yeah, they go to the product owner. All right. So that's what we're saying. The product owner is the person that they go to. Cool. Hopefully that was helpful. Try to make it realistic. That's sweet. Somebody else throw a question in there as we roll through. So that's awesome. Cool. What's the biggest thing that scares you about the test on Tuesday, Deborah? Thank you for explaining things this so well. All right, I appreciate it. Shashini, I'm good at explaining stuff, bad at names. What's one question that you have? What collaboration tool do you recommend for agile management and hardware manufacturing industry? What do you mean by that? Like how to manage backlog and stuff like that, and how to collaborate or what? We use Jira. Jira is just as good as anything else. It's a defects management tool, and our team is pretty good at doing it. I mean, anything that makes things visual, anything that helps us conceptualize the product backlog, they're all okay. I think less about the actual tools and more about how they're used. So is the team collaborating? Are we being focused on the work? Like, are we validating, our assumptions as we go through? Are we running tests in a sense? Like, are we doing those things? That's what I would care more about. Are we staying focused? Are they letting crazy people like me shift the focus all the time? Don't let that happen. So yeah, we use Jira to hold our backlog and manage our work and play out our roadmaps and stuff. But the best part of it is that like our product owners make everything super duper simple, or try, and just keep people focused. Because that's the biggest problem that I have is like, I want to do a lot, and let's be calculated. Do the thing that I like to tell myself is do less. I don't know, what the hell do I tell myself? I said, like, do less, like just do less. And it seems to go faster. Like I had a saying, but it's been a long day. I've been up since 4. But yeah, I do less. But I end up going faster if I do less. Less at the same time. It's fun to juggle plates, but in the end of the day, you just end up dropping them. That's cool. Deborah, you didn't tell me what you're scared about on the exam. What's one topic? You said you were worried on Tuesday, Deborah. Nobody's watching this. Don't worry. What's one topic? Let me be the fool. Let me get a mistake. What's one topic that you're like, I don't understand this topic? Or if the whole test was on this, I'd be super scared. One of them. I can wait. Oh, I got a good announcement. As this is the most rambly thing I've ever done. For the new exam, we've had 199 people take it. You mean do small chunks at a time? Yes, I do mean do small chunks at a time. I mean, be realistic about what you can actually accomplish and learn by doing it. Like that's what I found most effective is I try to plan to the nth degree. My plans are always terrible. They never work out. Like I'm not full of magic, like nor are you. And so organize the work by priority, chunk it up into small enough chunks that we can put it in front of our face, do it and be honest about what we learned from it and move on. Like boom, boom, boom. It's better to finish things than half-finished stuff and balance a lot of junk. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, Jesus. Procurement and contract types. In all honesty, if that's the only thing you got to worry about, Deborah, you're going to do exceptionally well. Because that's like, that's a small minority of the exam. But basically in the procurement world, all we need to do PMI-wise, okay, on the exam is to know Well, there's a couple topics. I could go through the entire thing, but the thing you want to ask yourself with contracts is like, where does the risk exist? Okay. So to be super duper double simple about traditional like contracts, it's like they got cost plus or fixed price. Okay. There's three types: cost plus, fixed price, time and materials, So we're going to talk about the first two: cost plus and fixed price. All right. So if we are, just say we're Walmart, we're the big organization, and we're out there getting a service or help from somebody else. Okay. Now, which one, if we have a lot of ambiguity in the work, if there's, like changes due to like products, prices and things like that, we got to ask ourselves where, the cost is on us. So if the cost variation, if there's significant variation in the cost, then the risk would be on the person providing, not us, right? So they would want like a cost plus contract, all right? Because the risk is on them and they want to be compensated for it. But if it's the other way around, so in those situations, the risk would be on us, you're right, because they would want to say cost plus. Now, if they had a fixed price, they'd be like, oh my God, I'm super scared. If the price of steel goes through the roof, then they end up losing their business. Not good. So simple as that. If we can know those basic things, like as we think through the contracts from the beginning to end, all they're doing is laying out high level from PMI, okay? In the planning world, planning process group, what are we doing procurement-wise in planning? What are we doing? High level. We're defining make-buy decisions, right? Do we want to go outside or are we going to do it inside? So we have make-buy decisions, because think about what's happening in planning. We're going and defining the scope, the schedule, the cost, all that junk. Eventually, we're going to be like, oh God, like we got a lot of stuff to do. We're not experts in everything. Can some other people do stuff? Yeah, okay. Well, what stuff do we want them to do? So some of that scope, we'll think about how it's laid out in planning. Take some of that scope, go down and say, all right, now it's in the procurement world. So we're going to purchase that from an outside vendor, okay? So if we did that, what would we need to do? Well, we really need to define the criteria, what we need, so that's the specifications, right? We need to define, well, who in the company does this? Like you can't go out and sign for stuff. So it's like, what are the procurement rules? What are the guidelines? What's the plan? What department? The way to think through procurement there is that not that, you're an advisor in a sense, but you can't sign for anything. So it's going to be legal or procurement or accounting or whatever it is. It's going to go out there. We're going to define the contract type, source selection criteria. Like how are we going to make a decision off like a firm that's done this before, its history, its financial stability, accreditations, whatever it is. So we'll define that. So we've defined, make buy. Okay, we're doing this. We're going out with this. What are the criteria that we want, like specs? What's the process for procurement? This is all in planning, right? What are the source selection criteria? We might have like an independent cost estimate to be like, dude, how are we going to evaluate these bids? They call it like ICE, independent cost and estimate. So that's like going outside, hiring a firm just to bid it like somebody else would be. So, they said it's going to cost $850,000. That's what they bid. All right, sweet. Put that in our back pocket. Then we're going to create the bid documents, the contracts, whatever. Hey, we're going to go out and get an RFI, RFQ, RFP, whatever we want based on the deal. All right. Then in executing, technically, we go out there, survey the market, say, boom, advertise, get whatever, put it out on our site, go to our original vendors that work with us all the time, say, hey, we need help. Submit your stuff in, bids. There might be like a bidder conference, right? Where people get uniform information based on the contract. We might be able to answer questions to everyone. So everyone has what they need to know, make an educated bid. They put their stuff in. We go, I like this person based on the source selection criteria. These other, cut the negotiation. Obviously, the powers that be in the company will do that. Sign the deal. That's my signature. It's a dot at the end. We're good to go. Then we say, hey, we're in business now. We got a relationship. We got a contract. That's my signature. Go to work. They go to work. That's an executing. We keep a track of them. As soon as executing, so does monitoring and controlling. They're working. We're evaluating them per the contract and per our checks on them. And at the end, Lord willing, they get the work to us, and we treat them just like we treat ourselves. Internal validation per the contract. We accept it or don't. If there's any issues inside of it, we're going to have, an escalation process for dealing with change. we're related to the customer and the contract. And then if it gets real bad, we might have alternate dispute resolution processes. That's like a legal-ish way to do it that keeps us out of court, but has a justified way to make a decision. Get there. The most preferred way to deal with anybody is through negotiation, not litigation, but litigation exists for a reason. And so if we get there and we get to the end, they do what we want, we approve, everything's good, it serves and goes back into the main product or whatever we're doing, close it out. It's done. That's it. How detailed? She says, how detailed do you understand FR, RFI, QMP? Not very detailed. Just what I defined in the Accelerator course. Go through that little video. I think it's like one of the later sections in the waterfall deep dive. I already said it good there. I was skinnier, more rested, and smarter. So just go listen to that guy. You're going to be fine. Any other questions, Deborah? Good news and bad news. I'm out of drinks. Somebody else asked a question, and I forgot it. What's it? What's up? Deborah's exam's next Tuesday. Nantini, when is your exam? Marty, when's your exam? FMA Trook, when's your exam? You got me on the line. You can tell me when your exam. Who knows? I might do something magical for you. I don't know. Gotta tell me. All right, cool. What are some other questions that you have? Oh, I was going to tell you. I had 199 people take the test. I'm ready to submit PMP application, Marty. Marty, are you one of my students? I might not recognize the name. Haven't scheduled the exam yet. Are you in the accelerator or no, Marty? Okay, Nadine, you passed your PMP thanks to you. Thanks to me. Sweet. I appreciate it. Marty, are you in the accelerator? If you are, I apologize. You are? Okay, cool. Sweet. All right, so I got to guess. Let's guess. We had 199 people take the new exam. What am I going to give you? If you've passed the PMP already, I'll give you like a little baby PDU course. If you haven't passed it, I'll give you a PDU. I'll just give everybody a PDU course. We had 199 people take as of this morning, 199 people take the PMP exam, the new one. How many out of 199 had passed? Who can get closest to the pen? JK, cool. You're taking it the third? Sweet. So 199 took it. How many passed? Whoever gets closest, I'll give you a PDU course. I know the answer. I can't give them 198. She says 198 of 199. Deborah, you might be close. You might not be. 199. That'd be nice, Marty. That'd be cool. 170. What? 170 and 199? What do you call me? I'm not one of those other guys. Okay. We got one more. JK, what's your guess? Somebody says 190. James says 190. Dude, you know better than that shit. Come on. All right, everybody voted? JK, did you vote? It's like Price is Right rules, whatever those are. 195. All right, the winner is Deborah. Deborah. We got 197 out of 199. All right? So that's pretty good. 19. TP says 19. Dude, 19. Yeah, we had 197 out of 199. No cockiness, that's just what happened. So we're good. We had 2 people fail. It's totally okay. We're getting them through, but that's going good. So who won? See you later. See you, Marty. Who won? Deborah, I'll get you your PDUs. No big deal. All right, cool. Before we go, I've been on for 29 minutes, and I've just been talking. I was not structured today. I apologize. Anybody have one more question? I'll answer it honestly and truthfully. What you got? Any question? Somebody want to tell me their favorite part of Agile? Deborah says, sweet. What's your favorite part of Agile? There's so many things to like. What do I think is the next step? Yeah, I think ACP could be the next step after PMP. It's weird you say that because I am just finishing my ACP class right now. That's why I have these dark circles underneath my eyes. Yeah, I think it is a really, really good step because I think that agile is an extremely powerful way of thinking and working. And so I think that if you go deep and you understand agile and scrum and what it means and all the super duper smart people that have come before us that have blazed a trail and they continue to do good things, then we can take things back to our companies and organizations and homes and make a big difference. And it looks good on resumes and you talk eloquently to the potential employers and jobs and stuff. So I think ACP is a fantastic next step and just build you down the road. So I love it. I really think it's great. And if you want to be involved in our ACP thing, just let me know. Send me an email. Scott at PMMasterprep.com. Why don't you send me an email, Scott at PMMasterprep. I'll show you my ACP course and the coaching programs and stuff. And it's really helpful. So I think we got to get 100 on the ACP. Got 197 out of 199. So I'm going to go for 100 on the ACP. We'll see what we can do. Okie dokie. Send me an email, everybody. Scott at PM Master Prep. It's been good talking to you. It's been 31 minutes. I apologize. I was a teensy bit late. Will do. Yep. So Scott at PMMasterprep.com if you want ACP or Accelerator stuff. Yeah, we have almost 600 in the last year and 200 on the new exam, and we expect another 400 by the end of the year. So we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Appreciate everything. See you soon. Adios.